Hello and welcome to this week's round of ISRL here in Mexico. It's round 2 of the championship and we have some drivers just on their outlaps right now, heading round for qualifying. This week I am joined by Origin Gamma from ISRL as my core com, so welcome first of all.
Hello, yeah, no, great to be here. Looking forward to seeing the racing around Mexico City. Been racing here, well, since really, was it 2015 we came back here? But yeah, no, good track, very difficult on tyres. You've got a lot of issues with rears, as I'm watching ISRL Prix 85, who just struggled with the rears as an example. But yeah, no, it's an interesting track. It's the humidity is very hot, but yeah, look, will be good, I think.
Yeah, I think we're in for an exciting race if pre-season was anything to go by. And I'm currently on board with CJ Butch carrying a lot of speed as ISRL Chris goes fastest rower 116 dead. So, do you know what you'd like to see for a qualifying time round here at Mexico?
Well, if we're looking back towards sort of 2020, we're looking at sort of 114s, etc. But of course, with the loss of downforce that you've seen these days, you don't really. It'll be difficult to match that time. But you've got to remember as well, the track is green as well, so they're not going to have optimal grip. As we see there, as I say, 1 minute 14. We've had Synchro going fastest with a 1:14.5. So. Pretty quick times. Maybe I could be wrong. Maybe we'll be going into the 1 minute 13s. But it'll be interesting these first initial laps, just to try and see where the track is, to try and lay down some rubber, as it were. But it'll be crucial just to get those laps in to try and see where the grip is, which is not always easy to find on this track.
No, it is known for being one of the more slick tracks, if you like, out there.
Oh, sorry to interrupt. There was an alpha round. That would have been, I think, Galloway, who just spun on as he was about to start his lap, and he's just gone back into the pit lane. So apologies for that. Carry on.
Yeah, that's not ideal for him. As always, Rick's also had a little bit of a moment. He's missing a front wing in that Haas, which has become a little bit more common to see this season than most.
Yeah, it's super easy. I mean, the rear, with so many slow corners, the rear of the car can snap on you so quickly as well. And the barrier is too far away as well, so a bit of a difficult one, but there's plenty of time to get another lap in. We've already lost one driver, which was is that an Alpine of Tabone there?
Yeah, Ephraim's retired early from this session, so clearly must be got a plan either to start from the back or just not having the day you'd like and made a little mistake.
Yeah,
I'm not sure, I didn't see where that happened.
Yeah, just had a look, looks like it was some kind of crash, so very unlucky. It's actually a Williams, my apologies. Every car is blue these days. So trying to work out which one is which is easier said than done.
Watching Doomsday have a bit of a scruffy lap here. He's been a little bit all over the runoff areas, and now he's finally invalidated. Not what he would have wanted, but I'm assuming he's just going to be going back to the pit lane as the track has quietened down for the first time in maybe 5 minutes now.
Yeah, absolutely. We've just lost another driver. Craigo's don't know if that's a retirement or not, but there's a Red Bull stopped on the track, and that looks like Craigo, perhaps. But yeah, I mean, in regards to Doomsday, the S's are probably the worst part on this track. It's so important you get that absolutely precisely correct, because you can easily just understeer off the track if you don't hit it precisely right, and you can lose so much time through there as well, and that'll be really crucial during the race, because of course the straight afterwards has a nice DRS zone, so that can really aid, put you on the backdrop when it comes to overtaking.
Yeah, this track's become really quite set up critical, if that's the way to put it, because them S's are just so critical to the lap time and being able to compete with some of the best drivers like Synchro, KTM Sweden, who are in the 114s, and that seems like a blistering lap.
Yeah, absolutely. As Baker goes just only a couple of hundredths behind. So, but yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of a setup is super important, especially on this track as well. And you need a good combination. You obviously want a good amount of downforce, particularly for the final sector. It's the slowest part on the track. But then you don't want to put too much downforce on, because then you've got the long straights, the 2 DRS zones, and that could really put you on the back foot as well. So it's important to really get a good optimization of both, but easier said than done, really.
And how does the altitude at a track so high up, like the Mexican track especially, being the highest on the calendar, does that affect how the downforce would work for you?
Yeah, it has a number of factors. So of course, as you mentioned, the downforce will have a huge impact on it, because there isn't a lot of air in the atmosphere, and that means that you can't get enough air to generate that level of downforce. And especially when you're behind cars as well, it can be even more difficult. But it has another effect on the tyre temperatures as well. They can overheat massively, and that has a huge impact on grip levels as well. So it's really important for managing tyre temperatures, because they will degrade so much quicker if you're stuck behind cars, and that's a huge thing that drivers will need to be considerate of if the track temperatures remain high.
Yeah, and do you think dirty air is going to be a big factor this weekend? Because we have seen that this track isn't the easiest to overtake at. Although you've got the big long DRS zones, this middle sector can really kill the tyres off, especially the softs.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see freefall eliminated from this session, but absolutely, yeah. The dirty air will be a huge factor. It's particularly the final sector. You've got so many slow corners, the slow hairpins. You can't really overtake in that element. You've also got the S's as well, which could be a huge problem, and really that middle sector as well. It's kind of a similar sort of awkwardness with Abu Dhabi, for example. You've got 2 very long straights, and you think, that's great, that'll be brilliant for overtaking. But then the other 2 sectors are compromised with corners, and you just get hit with all that turbulent air. That sort of cancels each other out, and that's why it's actually quite difficult to overtake here as well. So you're reliant mostly on other people making errors, more or less, or having issues with their tyres.
Oh, okay, there was a Mercedes ground then. I was riding on board with CJ Butch for his lap as he's going in the middle sector. There had been a Mercedes that had spun, so maybe Vector there.
Yeah, absolutely. As Butch goes 6th fastest with 1:49, so the times are starting to come down now, and this will be super beneficial for drivers coming out in these latter stages of the qualifying session. It'll be super good to get that optimized level of grip as well. But yeah, still a lot of drivers still yet to make their first lap time. We've already lost 3 drivers at the moment, so.
Synchro just a 10th down on his time though, coming into this last sector where a 10th is really easily gained, but quite easily lost as well through here.
Absolutely. So it'll all be around that final sector and how much time. He takes the shortest line onto the route and does improve by 2,000. So. As you mentioned, absolutely, attempts can be easily lost or gained, and it's all about getting that precise lap in.
Yeah, Synchro looking really comfortable in that Aston Martin, and I have to say that Aston Martin looks great in the Mexican sunshine, and Synchro really showing that that car's eligible for a pole position today if he can get everything together in the latter stages.
Absolutely, yeah, but he's got some very close competition behind as well. Baker, Ritchie, Sweden as well. All the drivers seeming to be top 7 in the 1:14s. So Synchro still needs to make sure he delivers these perfect laps, because if the others start improving, that could be a huge problem.
Yeah, and the times look very close here today. As you say, the top 7. All inside that 1:14, that could lead to a very close race, and maybe one of these typical esports DRS trains that we're used to seeing.
Yeah, definitely. That could be and that will be a huge problem. So to get in front and to get that qualifying and getting that pole position will be really crucial here. So you don't really want to be stuck inside the DRS zone, but might be useful for the start of the race because, of course, you'll have that very powerful slipstream coming down into that first corner. So can be swings and roundabouts in a way.
And do Aston Martin try and get Sprunky to maybe P11 so he can be the first of the alternative strategy drivers? Maybe running a hard tyre long into the race, just so when Synchro does pit, he's got maybe Sprunky ahead just to be a bit of a back guard for him.
Yeah, that could be a potential option. It would sort of scare a couple of people who do qualify on the soft tyres into that undercut. Because, of course, if they do try and pit early, which we imagine they will compared to someone on the hard runners, they will have to get past the second Aston Martin. So that's a huge problem. That's something they'll have to consider. It also benefits the Aston Martin strategy because, of course, if, say, for example, they had the same tyre, then you've got to synchronize it so that they both don't pit at the same time because we've seen in the past couple of games, double stacking doesn't exactly go so well, unfortunately.
No, it seems to be a lot easier in real life. Codemasters hasn't quite mastered the double stack so far, but we're on board with Vector there. Starting his lap for the Mercedes. Both Mercedes having he had an excursion there.
Yeah, he had an invalidation there, unfortunately. But whilst that happened, Lucchesi just did a 1 minute 13.9. That's 6 tenths quicker than what Synchro's done. So that's a huge jump now in the times.
Well, if I was Synchro, I would have looked at that and gone, where did that come from? Because
absolutely.
There was no warning to that, and with 3 minutes 50, there's not a lot of time to go and find 6 tenths of a second out there. So
no,
that could definitely be a good shout for pole position today.
Yeah, absolutely. The big gain, I'm just looking at the times now in comparison to that. Phenomenal lap. I mean, I'm just looking everywhere. I mean, the final sector they were matching, but it's the first and middle sector. I mean, there's about 3 tenths there in between, so yeah, great lap by Lucchesi there. 1:13.9. Wow.
Maybe he got the tyres just in that perfect window as we see Sprunky start on a lap now. He's telling me it's a 4 minute 15. I don't quite believe that. I've never seen an F1 car do 4 minute miles, but
there's always crazy stuff that happens when it comes to Formula 1.
So we're now watching Vector there on a second non-invalidated lap through the S-bends, and he's off again, but it did not invalidate him.
Yeah, you can. We have seen some tracks that have had this sort of issue where you'd think they'll be invalidated because they've gone off track. Take Silverstone, for example. Turn 9 there, you don't actually get invalidated wide in some cases. So it's interesting, but I can't imagine Vexter's gained a lot of time through doing that, as he's just popped in a 1:15.9. So not the cleanest lap, but potentially there still might be more pace to unlock here.
Yeah, for sure. As KTM Sweden's now on a lap 2 tenths up. He's in the 1:14, so Lorenzo with a 1:14.289. That was close to Lucchesi, but still not quite doing there. So a very good lap from the AlphaTauri.
Yeah, absolutely. Sprunky is just unfortunately invalidated again. But yeah, these times are getting closer, and as you've seen now, once the track starts to ramp up with grip, you'll see the times dropping down massively now all of a sudden. So perfect laps are really required now.
And that will be it for Sprunky. No qualifying lap. He's not managed to set a lap time. He's into the pit lane, and that will be qualifying over for him. So it looks like we could have one Aston Martin on the front row and another one on the back.
Absolutely, yeah. Unlucky for Sprunky. Yeah, this track is so easy to invalidate laps on. But yeah, P16 is not an ideal place to be starting. So, but the race is long. Anything can happen. I believe Rick has just retired on track. Potentially has just crashed out in the S's, perhaps. Can't see, unfortunately, but...
No, he's into the wall on the concrete on the right, riding on board with CJ Butch.
Yeah, I've just had a look. It looks like... Yeah, exactly.
So is there anyone that can improve now?
So we've got... So top two are remaining as they are.
Galloway, final sector, 3 temps up.
Oh, wow. It's a good middle sector then. Quickest of everyone, I believe, as well. So we'll be down to this final sector to see where he can position himself. He's got a second he needs to make up for pole.
He got it to the second row, and that is a valiant effort by the Alfa Romeo driver there.
Good effort.
I think there'll be many drivers out there that give that a round of applause, saying at the start of this session he was in the 115s.
Yeah, Baker's gone second fastest. That's an interesting lap though by Galloway, so that was half a second up. So that'll be interesting as I'm watching Synchro now. If the delta is half a second, that could put Synchro back on the front row. He's just up by just under 2 temps in the middle sector.
He's carrying the speed. So the number 2 car of the Aston Martin coming through the final sector, trying to take as much curb as possible and get the shortest run. Synchro out of the final corner, only good enough for 4th. So yeah, not quite what he would have wanted there.
No, not at all. Galloway is still in theory going for another lap. He is still going for it. I'm not sure. He might just have enough to go through.
CJ Butch is on a lap. And that promotes him up to 8th. So a strong day for the Alfa Romeos.
Yeah, 6th and 8th is very impressive for both of them. Both within 3 temps as well. So very impressive. But Lucchesi, only driver in the 1 minute 13. So I think I'll be very happy with that.
Yeah, that's definitely a statement going into tomorrow, and if he can do that as race pace, he could have an easy win here, as overtaking has proven to be difficult in the past. Yeah, for sure. But that first opening lap, as they all dash down into turn 1, will be crucial. He won't have the slipstream, so he'll need the perfect start, and to make sure that he can cover off the remaining pack who'll be chasing him down. Yeah, so on pole we have Lucchesi in the Alpha Tauri, and just behind him we have Bakker in the McLaren. Lorenzo in the Red Bull comes in 3rd, Synchro is 4th, Ritchie is 5th, Galloway is 6th, KTM Sweden 7th in the Mercedes, CJ Butch is 8th in the Alfa Romeo, in 9th is Doomsday in the Alpine. Then you have always Rick in the Haas. Aiden in the Alpine is 11th. You've got ISRL Chris 12th. Vector is 13th. Kind of Blind Cozy 14th. Craigo 15th. Sprunky 16th. Ephraim 17th. And Freefall 18th.
Very interesting grid then lined up then for the race.
Yeah, and it seems with the lap times being so close, we could have 4 or 5 drivers that could be competing for the win today.
Definitely, and that's where the fun begins. Really, there'll be a lot of things, not just that first lap as well, but how consistent these drivers can be, and also even strategy as well. The undercut is super powerful here because of these hot temperatures, so it'll be super interesting to see how this all plays out.
Yeah, and it's another beautiful day in Mexico with not a cloud in the sky, so I'm assuming the temperatures are going to be nice and warm as usual, and that won't serve well for these Pirelli tyres, as the session will start in just over 15 seconds.
Yeah, top 10 of course mandatory starting on the soft compound tyres. They will degrade very quickly. possibly as well, they could be forced on the two-stop strategy depending on how good their tyre management is. So they might want an early safety car here, but the medium and hard runners definitely don't want that.
No, and we get off on this formation lap now, and you can see that the top 10 are all going to be inside on the soft tyres, and behind that, hopefully you'll be able to see a few drivers on the mediums like ISRL Chris, Vector there, and kind of Blind Cozy.
Yeah, I'm interested on that. The soft runners who have the free tyre choice, they will have the optimum grip off the line, but with these hot temperatures, their tyres will degrade very quickly. So, be interesting to see. They'll be, particularly for everyone from 15th downwards, they will need to get past those medium runners as soon as possible. They do not want to be stuck behind them. But for the free medium runners, they expect them to be super aggressive towards the end of this race. They will have the opportunity to sort of alternate their strategies. Do they go for a one-stop strategy, go from medium to hards, or will they go for a two-stop strategy, potentially go for once their set of mediums onto two set of softs?
Yeah, and that's what we're going to find out in the coming 36 laps. But do we have any early predictions for this race?
I haven't really, and that's the fun of it. I think that I'm looking forward to. Like you said, there could be 4 or 5 cars competing for the win today, and there's so much that's happening as Chris gets disqualified from the session. Not ideal for when he's starting on medium tyres, but yeah, this race is so unpredictable. And with 36 laps to go, always a chance of some drama coming along.
As the front row is already lined. Yeah, the front row's already lined up now, so, and there's still cars tailing through the stadium section right now, so there'll be some nice cool tyres for Lucchesi there, and a nice view for the start as they all line up 2 by 2.
Absolutely, yeah. So this start will be crucial. Lucchesi needs to get off the line super well to avoid this slipstream that he's going to be given to the cars behind.
So we have 3, 4, 5 red lights, and the Mexican Grand Prix is underway. Lucchesi gets start. Backer just in behind him. Lorenzo trying to slipstream Lucchesi as it's now 3, 4, 5 wide in places. Baker takes the lead off Lucchesi as he's trying to push around the outside. He takes it back on the inside. Baker looking for the slipstream down this next straight as we got contact in the back. There's drivers round. I believe that one was a Mercedes. As Baker down the inside, no, he thinks better of it, and he'll settle into second place on this first lap behind Lucchesi. And it was Galloway that was the main driver to gain off that start, up 2 places and into 4th, and that's really strong, because if there is a DRS train, he might not make many more places, and they could be crucial. Absolutely.
Great stuff from Lucchesi as well. I loved his response into that first corner. Just went clean round the outside of Baker. Phenomenal stuff. There was a Ferrari, I believe, of Cozy, who had a moment with the Mercedes on the outside. He's just had another one as coming through the S's. But great stuff already from the AlphaTauri driver. But he now needs to clear this McLaren out of DRS, because of course he'll be in a huge amount of trouble if they start to get DRS on each other.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see Baker go again on Lucchesi as he pulls out and to have a look down the inside. No, he thinks better. He knows Lucchesi's just going to do the same trick he did on the first lap, and that now kind of brings Lucchesi a little bit out of his range and puts Lorenzo back into Baker's range.
Absolutely. We've got 4 drivers already in the pit stops. Cozy, I imagine, was so given his insert at the start, as is the Mercedes, one of the Mercedes as well. But yeah, this is getting super close now as well, and you can see the Red Bull of who is that?
Lorenzo.
Apologies. The timing screens like to play tricks on me, but they're all getting close to each other, and this will be super important. And Bacon needs to be wary. If he wants to make a move on the AlphaTauri, he's got to keep an eye on that Red Bull as well, as Sprunky gets the first penalty of this race.
Yeah, not what he would have wanted. Quite far down the back of this pack, trying to make his way through, but Lorenzo looking maybe the stronger out of the two, fighting for the second place. As he sets the fastest lap of the race. Richie on a very good lap as well, kind of queued up a little bit now behind Galloway. He weaves over. Is he going to try what Lucchesi did on the first lap and just go around the outside? No. That's a good defence by Galloway there.
Yeah, Alfa Romeo looking strong at the moment. 4th and 6th for both of them at the moment. Sandwiched between a Ferrari in between them. Baker had another little look on Lucchesi, but it's just a little too far back. But of course, once they come to that same straight again, he will have the advantage of DRS, so long as, of course, he can stay within that 1 second.
Yeah, and this is a very long race. Maybe one of the longest of the seasons, and it's a little bit like Hungary. It's very unforgiving for brakes. It's corner after corner after corner, apart from the last corner. You get a nice break into turn 1, but these drivers are going to have to stay mega focused in a big train like this, where only a second separates a good majority of the drivers.
Absolutely. Concentration is so important. 36 laps now of just getting your head down, doing everything you can to put pressure on and hoping that the other cars ahead of you make mistakes.
I think Bakker's made a small mistake out of the last corner, and that's got Lorenzo right onto his back end.
Yeah, Baker's been struggling through the corners, but Lucchesi on the defensive, and as well, keep your eye on Lorenzo, just keeping his eye on, but Baker now takes the lead of this Grand Prix, fairly straightforward there.
Yeah, and that was, oh dear, Galloway's had a terrible pit stop. He's pitted early and they put wet tyres on and he's retired in the pit lane. He does not want to see no more, as his race has been ruined by a mistake by the pit crew there, and that's just not what he would have wanted. That's terrible to see. He was running 4th. His race is now over.
That's such a disappointment there for him. I wonder if he's just picked the wrong tyres as he wanted to pit as well. That's a huge shame for him. Like I said, running 4th as well.
Oh! Baker in the wall. He's round backwards, no front wing. So that's his race over as well, and that drops him off the lead pack of Lucchesi and Lorenzo. And there is now a safety car out as well. So do the front pack pit off the soft tyres and take the advantage away from the medium runners.
Yeah, looks like Lucchesi might be staying out here. Both top 2 have stayed out. They are staying out in the soft tyres. Such a shame for the McLaren driver. That's not the mistake you want to be making, especially leading the race. We talked about it earlier. The concentration that's needed for 36 laps is so important, and it is such a shame. But we have got drivers in the pit stops. We've got Synchro pitting 4 medium tyres. Sprunky as well, and Aston Martin have double stacked here, and it's not worked out, unfortunately. Welcome to F1 2021. Double stacks are not so powerful here, unfortunately.
Yeah, and Synchro may have got the best strategy here, as he pitted from 4th or 5th position, and he's one of the top runners now on the mediums. ISRL Chris is also a big gainer there in 7th, all the way from the very back of the grid. So Lucchesi's got to hope to pull 22 seconds roughly to get this pit stop back on Synchro now.
Definitely. So Synchro effectively doesn't need to pit again if he doesn't want to. I believe the tyres will not last another 31 laps. I think you'll have a bigger chance of seeing Santa Claus than getting those medium tyres to the end of the race. But he will. But yeah, no, he's in a very strong position. He's essentially got rid of one of his pit stops, which is good for him. So now he can go on the medium tyres. And if he can get another safety car, potentially towards the end of this race when he has to pit onto the soft tyres again, that could really benefit him. So he could very well be in a very good position.
I'm going to show a driver some love right now for real intelligence. He's running down in 16th. It's kind of blind cozy. He's not had the best weekend, But when he's pitted under a safety car, he's chosen the hard tyres. He does not have to pit again.
Yeah, absolutely, and that could be a it's that fine balance between, do you want the track position or do you want the raw pace? And he's chosen track position. If he can get those tyres to 31 laps to the end, possible, definitely. What he's got to be considerate of is the pace of the others around him. He won't have that raw pace, so he'll need to try and be as consistent as possible, because he will be under massive pressure when all the other cars stop again. So Cozy might want a second safety car if he can towards the end of his hard stint. That could put him in a good position. Keep your eye on Cozy in 16th place, albeit he does need to catch the rest of the pack because he is down the back straight at the moment, as does the Red Bull of Krager at the moment. They're a wee bit behind.
Two drivers that have normally been very consistent and very good for not making. Having a bit of a rough weekend out here in the hills of Mexico, but you can see Lucchesi behind that beautiful red Mercedes safety car, and Lorenzo just behind him, been with him all the way from the start this race.
Absolutely. So Lucchesi will get a little bit of a break. It'll be interesting though, because the top 6 didn't pit off their soft tyres. So the question is, how long can those tyres go for? Because when they pit, which we imagine will probably be, what we're going to say, like lap 11 or 12 maybe, they will have to come through this pack.
Has Synchro just give himself the net lead of this race then, in P8?
Yeah, definitely. He's the only driver who, well, he's the leading driver who doesn't have to make a second pit stop. Top 7 have to pit again. What Synchro might want to, what might help Synchro is to get past ISRL Chris at the moment. Chris is on medium tyres, albeit he does have to stop again, but he will have, Synchro will be beneficial to get past Chris as quickly as possible so that he doesn't lose time behind that AlphaTauri. Alternatively, Chris could really do his teammate a favour here by holding up the Aston Martin, because Lucchesi can gain a bigger gap out of it, so when he pits, Synchro might be a bit closer. So AlphaTauri might need to put some tactics on here.
Yeah, and it looks that Synchro really does have an advantage here, because 6-lap old softs or 1-lap old mediums, I know which one I would be choosing.
I would agree with, I would agree. The tyre degradation here is fairly massive as well, so a 5-lap difference is a very big difference on this track, in comparison to, say for example, Silverstone or Monaco, where the track degradation isn't so high. On a track like this, it's a whole different story.
This is an interesting fact. Both Alpines have managed to slide under the radar to 5th and 6th position alike. So that's a really good weekend for them turning out right now. As long as they can keep it on the road, they should be really good. And the safety car is in this lap, so you can see Lucchesi now starting to back up this pack and let the safety car sprint away to the pit lane before we get this race back to green flag racing.
Absolutely, this will be a good test. He's letting the safety car just back away, and the question is, how late does he want to leave it? Because of course there's a long slipstream down the back road, and it looked like he has chosen now. Or is he not? No. Yes, he has. Apologies.
He has. But that has given Lorenzo an amazing slipstream. So Richie didn't go with him, but Lorenzo did, and this now gives him an opportunity to take the lead into turn 1. Down the inside of Lucchesi. Lorenzo takes the lead. Lucchesi trying round the outside, but Lorenzo has none of that one this time, and down the next straight he'll be looking to defend. No, Lorenzo has got the lead, and there's very little Lucchesi can do about that one. So
yeah, that seemed very passive from Lucchesi. Just basically didn't defend that one at all. So we did see a couple of scraps in the back, but an Alpine has just lost out. Azen's dropped down to 8th. I did watch him. He was actually scrapping with his teammate at one point, but something seems to have happened as the Haas of Rick has just gone straight into the back of him, and off comes a front wing end plate for the Haas driver.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch that some interesting tactics then by the Haas driver there. As they oh, 3 wide into 1 corner, does not quite work as the McLarens. That's a chaotic pack at the back here. As are we about to see Lucchesi have another go for the lead? He's looking at it. He's not completely ruled it out.
No, no DRS, of course, until the end of the 2nd lap after a safety car restart. So might be biding his time until then as well. CJ Butch on the restart as well was very close to the Ferrari of Ricci, who's up into the podium places now, which is great for him at the moment, as we see Aizen and Rick pitting after their little excursion on the restart.
ISRL F1 Ricci. He was last season's Division 3 champion and definitely one of the gentlemen of this division, but also one of the best race drivers. If you put him in qualifying, maybe not the biggest star on a Saturday, but on a Sunday he comes through, and as you can see, he's now picked up a podium just by keeping it clean so far. Doomsday has retired in 8th. What's happened there? Safety car! Safety car! Yeah. And Lorenzo's locked up and gone off in the stadium. He's down 5th, 6th place. Oh no, it's lagged. Oh, okay.
But Lorenzo has left the session. So something has happened, and that has cost him because he stayed out. The other drivers have. And another one, you mentioned Ricci, he's just got a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane as well.
Oh no!
That's hugely costly, but a real shame for Doomsday. The Alpines, we said, were going so well, and now all of a sudden they're not looking so good. But who did we say was going to look very good after the safety car restart at the moment?
We were saying Synchro, and he happens to be 2nd on the mediums with F-Rome and KTM Sweden. There's quite a few cars now between Lucchesi and his beloved 1st position. So, does Lorenzo now pit this lap and just take the hit and go all the way down to 15th?
Unfortunately, Lorenzo's left the session, so he'll need to rejoin before the safety car because he's going to lose out massively as a result of that. Cozy in a great position. He's up to 9th as well on the hard tyres. Remember, he doesn't have to pit again. If he doesn't want to, but Synchro looks very good at the moment.
Yeah, and Cozy's now kind of the net leader because these mediums won't go to the end. So, kind of blind Cozy kind of leads this race.
Pretty much, yeah. As long as he's got the pace to keep within the pit window, we could see him leading this race. But his teammate's got a lot of work to do. He's on the soft tyres now. He's pitted for fresh ones. But with that 5-second time penalty looming, he's got a lot of work to do now to recover back into a podium position, if he can get there.
Yeah, and he's also got ISRL Chris just behind him on fresh soft tyres, the teammate of Lucchesi. So if Chris can put pressure on Ricci, that allows Lucchesi to go and put pressure on Ricci's teammate, Cozy.
Yeah, definitely. That safety car, though, is not ideal for Lucchesi. He's got 9 other cars that he now needs to get through in order to retake the lead of this race.
Yeah, rather late call by the safety car, and that leaves Lorenzo not very much time.
Can Lorenzo's AI keep the cars in check? That'll be the next question. I think Synchro's already right on the back of him.
Yeah, and Synchro has now got a ghost to follow of Lorenzo on the soft tyres, but this is now going to be the lead, I assume, as Lorenzo doesn't have the pace to keep Synchro behind as a ghost, and yeah, that's Synchro and F-Rome passing him now. That's just not gone ideally well for Lorenzo, and that could be his weekend over, so...
Yeah, he'll have a lot of work he'll need to do to catch back up the field. There was a crash between Aizen and Rick on the safety car restart as well. So if they weren't already having a bad weekend, it's gone from bad to worse now.
Yeah, always. Rick's just had to make a pit stop as well, so that's put him quite a long way back. 30 seconds off Asian, who's 10 seconds off the back of the pack himself.
Yeah, definitely. That could be a difficult weekend as Craigo next one to get a 3-second time penalty. Worth noting, by the way, Synchro has also got a 3-second time penalty. That could be crucial later on in this race, perhaps.
Yeah, KTM Sweden is within half a second of Ephraim though, so if the Williams and the Mercedes are going to fight it out now, that would give Synchro a good time to pull away from the pack, as we've got Lorenzo now pitting. That's not what he needed. That will drop him 25 seconds off the pack.
And on soft tyres again, so he'll have to make a second pit stop as well. So he will be massively down the order as a result of this. But Synchro, perfect lead for him, 1.8 seconds.
Always Rick has had an accident.
Yeah, looks like he's lost it again on the S's, and that's his entire front wing gone now. There's an end plate before, now it's the full front wing gone now. So Haas are burning through front wings like no tomorrow.
Aye, as we have Bakker, who had the early mistake in this session and had that spin and got taken out of the lead, if you like, through that mistake. He's now back up into 4th, and it seems to be all the damage is almost fixed.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that. He's back up into 4th. That's mega from him. He's been super quiet since that mistake, but he's still in there, still up into 4th at the moment. So
that's one of the best turnarounds I've seen.
Yeah, I need to get tips from him, as we have lost CJ Butch. The second Alpha gone as well, and that is a virtual safety car. That's right on the final corner.
Yeah,
and a safety car.
Yeah, that's not what they would have wanted, because both Alfa Romeo is now out. That's a no point scoring here in Mexico. That definitely hinders them in the constructors, but it also hinders their 2 drivers' championships, as neither of them will get points, and it promotes Always Rick, who's having a nightmare of a day, now into 1 point. So that's what you get for just keep plugging at it, I guess. You get the 1 point reward that Always Rick will get today for 15th.
Absolutely, never give up there as well. These safety cars though are really hard. Those on the soft tyres still. Richie's on softs, Chris on softs, Lorenzo on softs, and Rick on softs as well. They need as many laps as possible to start catching the field. These safety car laps are not helping them. Who it is helping though is all those on the hard runners, which is Cozy and Azen, because they don't need to worry about the cars leaping into the distance.
No, Lucchesi's probably in the worst of the positions of the top 7 now, because his tyres are not massively old, but they're not massively new, and he won't have much of an advantage over them mediums, but kind of blind Cozy, he's now got off them hard tyres, so that kind of loses the advantage he had over the rest of the pack.
Yeah, interesting there by that decision. Craigo instead has decided to take the mantle. He's on the hard tyres. So Azen, the leading hard runner, which is interesting. Craigo, if Lorenzo wasn't having an even worse day, he's now come out behind his teammate as well for added insult to injury.
Yeah, for sure. And now Lorenzo's behind his teammate Craigo. Will there be a bit of team orders there? And that asks a question.
I don't think Craig will put up much of a fight there. I think Lorenzo's got with the soft tyres will have the pace anyways, but I can't see Craig putting much of a fight there. I don't think it helps either of them in that regard. So, but that's still not going to be ideal for Lorenzo regardless, because that's another car he's stuck behind as he's down in 12th place at the moment.
Yeah, and we've got both Aston Martins now inside of the top 5. There's one leading and one in 5th. So they're having a quietly understated day, but it's going rather well.
I am not going to say anything because we said it already on the Alfa Romeos and Alpines, and look what's happened to them. But no, brilliant stuff. But there's still 20 more laps to go. Anything could still happen here.
Oh, Lorenzo's pitted again. That's not gone well for him, and I feel for the driver now, because when you're not having a good day, it really doesn't go well, and it's hard. It's hard.
Definitely. But, as you mentioned, he's still in the points. It's worth salvaging whatever he can from this. He is also on the hard tyres as well, so he won't have the raw pace to get through the pack. But when other drivers do pit again, assuming they do pit again, because, well, we know definitely the top 5 will likely have to pit again. I don't think 35 laps on the medium tyres is possible. But when they do pit, Lorenzo should have track position on them. It will just be about carefully and crucially defending against them. As I thought Vexter just had a moment there, but looks like he just slowing down slightly. Looks like there's some sort of switcheroo playing between himself and Aizen at the moment. Aizen up to 8th.
Aye, Aizen's now in a really good position for the rest of this race. He's on the hard tyres, doesn't really have to pit stop again, and he's 8th place. He's not miles away.
Definitely. Safety car in this lap as well, so they don't leave it as late as the last one. The Sigpro will have to go again here. How will this all play out?
Yeah, we've had 3 safety car. Well, this will be our 3rd safety car restart, and 2 have been very different than the other. Let's see what the 3rd one offers us.
Absolutely. Needs to call this perfectly, and he's gone already. And
KTM
well,
Sweden's going to have to give that back. He's overtaken Efron before the line.
Yeah, he has given it back, but he has slowed down.
And that's cost him.
And Baker's coming right on, has overtaken him, and potentially, could he go around the outside of the Williams driver as well? Thinks about it, and not going to work there, and the Mercedes getting a wee bit too close to the rear of that Williams driver as well. But Baker goes round the outside, and now we've got the second Aston Martin looking at the Mercedes as well.
Yeah, Sprunky definitely applying pressure there, as he has a little bit of a look down there, keeping the car nice and clean, as Baker getting pushed nice and wide by KTM Sweden, and that allows Sprunky through.
Yeah, nice defence by the Mercedes there. I thought that move was done and dusted, but Baker goes from being on the podium position now down to 5th. Sprunky ahead now all of a sudden, so that has not worked out for him, although Sprunky's just given himself a 3-second time penalty. But nice battling there. Worth mentioning, Sprunky's got 9 seconds worth of penalties, and that could cost him.
Yeah, not what you want to see. As you can see, always Rick trying to get through this as he's on the soft tyres, but probably not the ideal time to be trying to get through.
Yeah, Rick trying to unlap himself, of course, lap down from the remainder of the field, but not working his way as Aizen drops to 11th place on those hard compound tyres, just struggling with tyre temperature, trying to warm the tyres up, as now once again we see Sprunky and Baker wheel to wheel, and Sprunky defends but is on the much more acute line, and Baker might come back on this.
Yeah, that was good defence by Sprunky. Went round the outside and got it nicely stopped, and it looks like he's managed to defend that really quite well, so good job by Baker. As Sprunky's character on my screen has not got a helmet on. So,
yeah, this is a known glitch. I've got this as well. So I'm not sure if this is the new helmets where they're that good you can't see them, but as we see Aizen spinning on the exit of the hairpin, shame for him. But this fight, Sprunky's doing a good job keeping the McLaren behind, but Sweden's just saying thank you very much, I'm going to go into the distance now and go after the Alpine in 2nd place.
Yeah, and this really has been a roller coaster of a race right now, because we haven't really had very much to go off in the first 2 rounds of who's going to be a leader, and we've had so many lead changes and position changes this race, it's looking like it could be a really interesting season and definitely anybody's game. As we see Sprunky defending Baker again.
Yeah, Sprunky pulled out to the right-hand side, but interesting, Sprunky, you can see the electrical light at the moment, and Sprunky then needs to be careful of the way he moves there as well. That seemed a little late his move as Baker moved to the right as well, but the red light on the back harvesting electrical energy, so he's depleted a lot of his energy recovery system. That could hurt him as they get onto the straight again when we have the DRS enabled.
Yeah, for sure, and he's just trying to keep it clean through this. As always, Rick has seen enough and been into the wall.
And that's another safety car.
Yeah, this is perfect for Synchro right now though, because he can pit onto them hard tyres and get the advantage to now go on to maybe go out and win this race.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he can go for mediums now and just go to the end, but the problem is he'll drop right to the back of the field now. With the
Ephraim does as well. KTM Sweden, Sprunky. So Aston Martin are going to try the double stack again.
It already failed the first time. I don't think it's going to work a second time here, but
it's not quite worked. A small delay. But everyone back. ISRL Chris, who's not really had the best day, but look at this. Drivers that didn't qualify the best and lined up 15th, 16th, 17th and 18th now run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Very, very interesting. Great stuff of Vexter up into the lead, albeit he may have to pit again if his tyres can't last long. Craig, on the other hand, hard tyres.
Craigo is the race leader effectively right now, because them now mediums aren't going to go another 16 laps unless we get another 2 or 3 safety cars.
Yeah, and Cozy again is back up into the podium places. Remember, he was the first of the hard runners who gave up on that strategy. He's now up into the podium places.
Yeah, this has been a really roller coaster of a race, and I really couldn't predict what's going to happen, because Lucchesi, who is by far the quickest man on track, is now 11th and looking so far away from the lead. You wouldn't have thought he would win, but if you'd have asked me about would we see Cozy in a position 3 in this race, I would have probably said no as well. So race full of anything.
Yeah, absolutely. If you asked me when this race started, would we have 4 safety cars? I probably would have not believed you. But
yeah,
no, it's a race full of attrition at the moment, and I'm really keen to see how this will plays out. Let's see, as Butch has left the session. Of course, he retired earlier on. As Baker returns into the pits again for medium tyres.
Yeah, so that's not gone very well for him, and that drops him down to effectively last, but he's still got a few points coming there in 14th. But this is now all about, can Synchro recover to first? He's got 6 drivers ahead of him, all on used tyres, some on older than others. We've got mediums on 10 laps with Vector, and a hard on 10 laps with Asian, so this could really play into Synchro's hand and hand him the victory of this Mexican Grand Prix.
Absolutely. This will be about being patient but meticulous with his overtaking. He's got to obviously overtake these cars, but also not at a point where he also compromises his own race as well. So he's really got to be clever on how he wants to deal with it as well. I definitely don't expect the hard runners to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't think they'll be too kind and just simply lets him waltz through as well, as we've got the safety car in once again. This will be interesting, especially for a lot of drivers who have just pitted. How quickly can they get through this top 6 who haven't pitted under the safety car?
Yeah, and I'm just riding on board with Craigo now just to see how the 4th safety car restart of this race is going to go, because Vector, not within a massive experience of leading a race, didn't let the safety car get away, but has managed to get away with this, I think.
Yeah, just slightly lost the rear on the exit as well, so... But that's a very good restart for him. Craigo, nowhere near an overtake as we got the Ferrari. Is he under pressure from the McLaren? He does pull out to have a look. But no, nothing done there.
Synchro immediately passing Asian for his 6th place, and he's through. So that's given him a massive advantage on passing the first of the hard runners, and now he can chase Chris as he's got lock up just behind.
Yeah, absolutely perfect. Lucchesi, as we've got Aizen out this race as well on the hard tyres. What a shame for him, but as someone's round, and that looks like that is KTM Sweden.
Yeah, he got together with the Alpine of, I think it may be, was it F?
It'll be F. Yeah, in the sole remaining Alpine left of this race. But somehow as well, Vexter's just lost the lead of this race. We've just missed that. Craigo takes over the lead of this race. And yeah, that's Synchro. That's Synchro gone. Or Synchro not gone, but he has dropped down the order into back into last place.
So Craigo's going to lead this race. There's not much I can say now, because people who we thought could have won this race are now falling back. So is it going to be Lucchesi and Lorenzo now coming through as the two to watch?
Yeah, Lorenzo passing the sister Aston Martin of Sprunky. Sprunky down into 8th place. Richie, who was that? Was that Richie passing Fake? Or someone passing as well? Freefall gets past they're going wheel to wheel, and Freefall gets pushed into the wall there. I didn't see the onboard clearly enough. I caught it a bit too late, but the two collided into the braking zone, and Freefall was smacked straight into the barrier on the left-hand side. That is a huge shame for the Scotsman.
Yeah, and now it's ISRL Chris and Lucchesi trying to come past him, and does Chris have to let past Lucchesi now for a chance at the race win?
And
he pulls over, he does, yes.
Done so, yeah. No, and that's the right move, I think, there, because Lucchesi on the fresh medium tyres try and extract as much pace as he can out of that as well. Lucchesi now after the top three as DRS is enabled. Cozy now on the back of Vexter as well. These are 5 lap different tyres. English is my first language, I promise. But the Ferrari pulls out to the right hand side, and it'll be right into the braking zone.
Oh, that was a little bit of a pinch by Vector on the apex there, but Cozy wise to it again, and he'll go again. But for a driver that's had possibly one of the worst days in the office, this is a result that he will not mind too much, this 3rd place.
I think the top if the race ended now, if there was a red flag, I think the top 3 would be super happy. But unfortunately, they've got a very feisty AlphaTauri behind them now.
Yeah, and the time of which he gained that gap up to the back of Cozy was quite impressive. He gained 2 or 3 seconds within just a few seconds himself, so really got a big pace advantage.
Lucchesi's 3-second time penalty that he just got might cost him here. Cozy hasn't got a penalty yet, and that could really harm Lucchesi if he doesn't get past these guys.
Yeah, and if Cozy can get past Vector this time round with maybe a bit of DRS or something like that, then that really does open it up to being a matter of, does the penalty stop Cozy winning a race maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. We just almost had 3 wide there. Cozy, great stuff from him. I thought Lucchesi would have come out on top, and there goes Vector.
That's not good for Vector, and lots of debris there. Not ideal for him.
Yeah, 14 lap mediums. Those rear tyres look like they were about to cry. That's a huge shame for him, and he will need to pit definitely now. That releases Cozy and Lucchesi, but kind of unfortunate for Cozy because Now he's got no one to provide him with the DRS. And he's got a huge problem to keep Lucchesi behind. And as I mentioned, time penalties. Lucchesi picks up his first penalty.
Yeah, and Cozy picked up a penalty there as well, so this is now going to be a race to see who gets to the end. But Cozy not always been the strongest driver, having one hell of a race today, and it's great to see.
He could get a podium here. That's not out of the question here. I'm also going to refrain from trying to speculate on the future, because I now believe commentator curse exists. As Lucchesi gets ahead of Cozy and up into second place, that didn't seem like a fairly difficult move for him. And that leaves all but one, and that's a 10-lap-old hard-tired Red Bull, who is 1.7 seconds up the road.
Yeah, if you'd have said to me the pole sitter would have gone from first to last to fifth to last to first, I would have probably called you a liar, but it looks like Lucchesi's going to give it an attempt.
Absolutely. The race is not yet over. So definitely all to play for. Vexter comes back out on the soft tyres. Shame for him, but you know, there's still points on the card for him. Might as well try and use as much as try and bring home whatever you can really with that.
Yeah, and Lucchesi's not really made that much of an indent into Craigo this lap, so Craigo's doing a good job here. He's got 9 more laps to navigate, and Ephraim's the fastest man on track, so
I think Cozy's heart's about to break as he loses out on the podium to the Williams driver. Fair play to him, still trying to fight it. Gives him a little bit of a wheel tap, and that is Cozy.
No! Oh, can he recover that and keep the 4th place? He can. But Chris is in some real trouble. Backer is now going to be the next one to approach Cozy's gearbox.
Yeah, I think fair play to Cozy for trying to fight that, but I think that was one he needed to back out from there. I think that was almost inevitable that was going to happen. As we see KTM Sweden passing the AlphaTauri of Chris as well for 7th place. Good recovery from him after what's happened in his race as well. As Lucchesi now in DRS of Craigo, who goes a little bit wide on the exit of the S's.
Yeah, and with no DRS for Craigo, I feel like this could be a little bit of a formality, but hopefully not.
Craigo struggling with the rear tyres in the final sector, and Lucchesi might be slowly but surely coming here.
Yeah, I believe this could be it for Craigo, but here we go, let's see. No, he's managed to defend it fairly well.
Yeah, Cozy loses out on 4th place now, Backer ahead. And up into the top 4. Will now be chasing this top 3.
Oh, Cozy spun into the grass at the end of turn 1, so he plummets back down the field into P10. So that's a shame. That's a real shame for Cozy, that.
Yeah, second lap in a row. He spun on the same corner there, so huge shame for him. But yeah, still plenty of laps to go. Still in the top 10. That's still a good solid amount of points. And yeah, but he can be proud of where he's been today. He's been at the right place at the right moment, so still some positives he can take from this weekend.
Yeah, and Lucchesi now within under half a second of Craigo coming into the stadium section. And the Mexican fans here at Mexico have been treated to a splendid race, and it's not over yet as Lucchesi is now chasing Craigo for the lead of this race.
Red Bull Honda against a Red Bull Honda. And once again, Lucchesi is getting closer, but he's not going to get close enough unless he wants to send one up the inside. Not again.
So this is interesting.
Yeah, it does. It looks as if potentially, and I've been watching them. Craigo hasn't had this, the downforce, potentially due to the setup and potentially due to his tyres. but when it comes to straight line speed, he's right there when he needs it.
Yeah, you can't overtake through this middle sector, so as long as he's quick out with the last corner, this is his race.
Yeah, just needs to ensure he's in the right place at the right time. Lucchesi is really hounding him now. They're getting super close. He's getting close here, but overtaking not so easy into the stadium section.
Yeah, and for Lucchesi, he's now lost the tyre advantage. Eight lap old mediums are not going to feel all that much better than 13 lap old hards. So
no, he does it. It doesn't. Craigo just had a horrid exit though out of the final corner, and this looks much closer now.
yeah, and that looks like Lucchesi's already got it done before the corner. But we'll see if Craigo's straight line speed can actually carry him back past the Alpha Tower into the next corner, because he's got a good exit there riding on board.
Yeah, unfortunately he doesn't get the DRS though, because there's only one DRS detection zone. That's just before the final corner, so he doesn't get the DRS, and that is Lucchesi back into the lead of what's been a very crazy Mexican Grand Prix.
Yeah, and I don't believe it's over for Craigo yet, as Baker is now trying to make a last-ditch surge in the last 6 laps to take that second place off him, and Richie as well.
Yeah, Richie's got a bit of a train behind him. He's got KDM Sweden, Synchro, who's back up to 6th place after his spin, and Lorenzo in 7th as well. Got a whole load of cars that he's got to keep behind. But Craigo is pretty much Craigo again, final corner, just losing the rear of the car. So getting the tyres there, the rear of the car just really stepping out on them, and Bakker will be getting much closer now as a result of that. Be keeping very interested in that Red Bull.
Yeah, that last corner is so critical, because a poor exit hurts you all the way down that straight, all the way to turn 1. And you can really lose half a second just by a little bit of a poor exit out of that corner. As Ephraim continues.
Sweden ahead of the Ferrari, as is now Synchro, who's now having a look at this Mercedes, but Richie giving it as good of a fight as he can do. But that is 2 Mercedes cars, or Mercedes powered cars, behind ahead of the Ferrari powered car, and Lorenzo will be the next one to try and get past this prancing horse.
Yeah, and for people like Synchro and Lorenzo, it's really what could have been here at Mexico, as they've had all the opportunities to maybe lead and win this race, but with a few mistakes and not always going to plan, it's not really worked for them the best today.
Yeah, they'll be looking back at this race thinking, as you said, what could have been. That's a huge thing they'll have to take on the chin today. Could there have been more on the plate for them had things not worked out differently for them? Interestingly, by the way, Lucchesi in the middle sector lost a lot of time to Craigo. Craigo caught back up until the final sector, where he lost about 6/10 of a second there. So I don't know if Lucchesi made a mistake there. Synchro gets ahead of KTM Sweden and Lorenzo ahead of Richie. So a shuffle of positions between 4th and 7th place.
Yeah, and for people like Synchro, I think he's going to be super disappointed. Not that 4th place is a bad position, but he led this race with 10 laps to go on fresh tyres. He will be disappointed. I know Synchro, and he's definitely a bit performance critical, and that's going to really come back to haunt him, as you can see Baker now putting pressure on Craigo for 2nd place.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's usually races like this where, you know, you're in a position where you could have won, where you could have potentially done more, and they hurt for sure, but they're the biggest lesson learners, and it will definitely make Synchro a much stronger driver as a result of this. Bakker now right on the tail of Craigo. I cannot see this being a fairly difficult pass for the McLaren driver, but I don't suspect that Craigo will make it easy though.
That Red Bull flecky wing really helping the Red Bull out today and made that a little bit more difficult for the McLaren than he thought it was going to be for sure.
Yeah, one Red Bull loses a place, and the other one has just gained a place. Lorenzo ahead of KTM Sweden and up into 5th place now. Yeah, absolutely. But Craig in a fairly good position now. 4 laps to go. He's got Synchro, who is just under 4.5 seconds behind. Can Craig hold on to this podium place as well? 17-lap-old hard tyres? Who knows?
Aye, I think the very interesting bit for this is Synchro going to get caught by Craigo in 3 laps?
Yeah, definitely. The other thing Synchro needs to be super wary of, remember, he's got a time penalty. He's got 6 seconds worth of time penalties, actually, for that matter. So he's going to drop down the field, especially with Lorenzo having no penalties at the moment. So we could see
let's just get the penalties on screen for you real quickly. Craigo's got 12 seconds himself, so Craigo's going to lose this podium at this rate.
And potentially Lucchesi could lose the race win. There's 3... Oh, no, apologies. I'm losing my mind. This race has been that crazy. I think I need a drink.
Yeah, I think there'll be a few drivers out there that want to join you for that drink.
But yeah, these time penalties I mentioned could come back to haunt you, and Craigo may end up losing a podium to his own teammate here as a result of this. And this is really where it's come back, as that looks like Vexter, who's just had a moment on the S's.
Oh yeah, he's stuck in the wall.
Hopefully he doesn't put the leader off there, he just comes through. Looks like all is okay, but it gets himself going again. But what a drive from Lucchesi though. He's had a very crazy race today, but he somehow found himself back into the lead of this race.
Yeah, and with a race as crazy as this, with 4 safety cars, anything can happen. There is not a prime strategy with 4 safety cars.
No, apparently not. I don't think anybody had a plan in mind for 4 safety cars in this race, but great reactions, and it's the cooler heads that have prevailed today. Great job by Bakker as well. Remember, he was in 2nd place at one point. He's now found himself back in 2nd place. So he's been mega job by all of these drivers, as we see Sprunky losing a place down into 9th place at the moment, but stunning drive from all these drivers, to be honest.
Yeah, and Synchro's now within DRS of Craigo, so he's gonna have 1 attempt at this move for the podium. That's not really for the podium, because Lorenzo's gonna take that off the pair of them.
Yeah, Synchro doesn't want to take a huge risk on Craigo here. Craigo's got 12 seconds worth of penalties. Synchro does not want to take a risk on this Red Bull here. If there's a clean move, he'll go for it, but if
KTM Sweden's about to get involved with Lorenzo, though, and maybe write his podium chances off.
Yeah, Sweden's got 3 seconds worth of penalties. Lorenzo, of course, might be thinking, do I want to fight this a bit too hard here? Do I really want to fight this? Because if we have a clash, it hurts me more than the others.
Here comes Synchro, he's under half a second now.
Just slightly a bit too far behind, but of course there's
one more DRS zone.
Absolutely, and that will be essentially his last chance. There is a 3rd DRS zone that comes up as Richie gets a time penalty. How close can Synchro get on this one?
Is he just going to send it on the brake? He doesn't.
No, not worth the risk there, I think, for him. Lorenzo keeps Sweden and Richie behind as well. That's very crucial for him in his pursuit for that podium place. But I'm just watching Lucchesi. Stunning drive today. He's been absolutely mega.
Yeah, an absolute masterclass in some aspects of how to win a race in Mexico. In other aspects, he won't be happy with some of the events that happened today. But after all, he has driven a brilliant race. He comes out of the last corner, and he is the winner of round 2 of ISRL at Mexico. And that will give him a nice 50 points, I believe, and a good boost in the championship as Bakker comes second, Lorenzo third, KTM Sweden fourth, Synchro fifth, and definitely a day of what could have been for him. Craigo sixth, loses his podium. Richie seventh, Ephraim eighth, Freefall. Oh no, I lie. Chris has got eighth with a quick penalty change. Ephraim ninth, CRL Freefall has come in 10th. That's not a bad result, saying he started drop dead last this race. Koji 11th, good points for Ferrari, that will help them. And behind him, I believe it was Craigo gets the driver of the day today. Bit hard to argue with that, I guess.
No, definitely not. Good performance by him. He'll be disappointed that the penalties have taken the podium off him, but he can be really proud of that drive he's done today.
And Red Bull still got the podium, so they won't be too disappointed, as you see quite an unusual podium there of a Red Bull, an AlphaTauri and a McLaren.
Absolutely, yeah, but that was a good race. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was definitely crazy and eventful, and yeah, it was had a little bit of everything.
I think I need to lie down now after that.
Yeah, and some of your early retirements with Galloway, Doomsray, CJ Butch, Always Rick, Asian, yeah, they didn't have the best race today. Asian and Rick pick up points, but the biggest winners here for me are maybe Koji and Freefall. After a terrible Saturday, they've made a real good comeback and got some solid points for the teams and themselves respectively.
Yeah, definitely. Lucchesi for me, absolutely the driver of the day after what's been a pretty chaotic race for him. Managed to still somehow come back with that win, so good job by him and Bakker as well. Great podium and incredibly well deserved.
Yeah, and I think that's everything for this weekend's ISRL Division 3, but make sure you come back next Sunday at the same time for round 3, which is going to be at Spa-Francorchamps, a historic track, no doubt, and these drivers will be looking to master the hills in Belgium. I've been Campo from ISRL, and CRL Origin Gamma has been the co-commentator with me today. We'd like to thank you very much for your viewing of today's race, and we'll see you again next week.